I've talked quite a bit on this channel about demo discs. Heck, just 2 episodes of Unsealed ago, we opened up Tobal number 1 that had a pretty important demo in Final Fantasy VII on the inside. We've looked at demo discs on the repeat show as well, taking a look at some of the PlayStation Underground demos. We have opened up copies of the official PlayStation magazine that have demo discs inside of those. Demo discs are some of my favorite memories from the 5th and 6th generation of consoles. Being able to get discs that you could put into your game system, it would have pieces of games, playable pieces of games on there, or perhaps some videos or behind-the-scenes things, really opened up a whole new world, whereas before then, you'd have to go to a store and check out demos that were set up in a kiosk. Now you could play the games at home. You can play them to your heart's content. There really wasn't a timer set up where you had to move on and let someone else play, although some demos did have timers that would run out where you'd have to stop playing and start over again, but that's a story for another time. So I've talked about demo discs obviously before, from PlayStation Pix to PlayStation Underground, but one set of demo discs that I've always been interested in and never owned were discs that Sony distributed through Pizza Hut in late 1999. These discs have been talked about online for a long time. People tend to cherish these. They're on eBay in relatively high frequency. They were mentioned when the PlayStation Classic came out. Someone had mentioned that the demo discs from Pizza Hut were better than what was on the PlayStation Classic, for example, although there's a bit of hyperbole there. But I never really had access to these discs because, well, I'm not a Pizza Hut guy. I never go to Pizza Hut. If I'm getting pizza, and that isn't very often, I would either go to a local pizza shop or I would go to a chain called Papa Gino's, which isn't as numerous as it once was. So Pizza Hut and I were kind of on the out. So I only learned about these through going online and hearing what other people had to say about them. But recently, I came across both of the Pizza Hut demos from Sony from late 1999. And the really cool thing about these is they are unopened. We will be opening these on the show, hence Unsealed. And I'll explain why this is pretty cool in a minute. But first, let's take a look at these one at a time. And the first of the 2 discs is probably my favorite because of the games on offer. Here is disc number 1, and you can see the games on here. It is a power lineup. We have Crash Team Racing. We have Final Fantasy VIII, which I could take or leave. We have Cool Borders 4, again, kind of a take it or leave it. But then we have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which was epic in 1999. And, of course, we have Ape Escape, which was the first Sony game to utilize only the DualShock controller for play controls. Of these games, 3 of them are awesome. I love these games, and having the opportunity to play these, if I'd had these demo discs, or this demo disc, I would have played them quite a bit. Breaking them down really quick for those of you who may not know them, Crash Team Racing is very much like a Mario Kart kind of game where you're in a kart, except there are more things to do if you're a solo player like myself. There's an adventure or quest mode where you can play through, but there's also multiplayer action if you want to do those as well. So it combines Mario Kart type play with the Crash Bandicoot universe, which was pretty cute and definitely one of Sony's big mascots during this particular time frame. Next comes Final Fantasy VIII, the follow-up to the record-breaking Final Fantasy VII. It is a game that does not sit well with me personally. It is not in my upper echelon of Final Fantasy games, but nevertheless, there is quite a legion of fans that support this game pretty heavily. It was just re-released or remastered for the PlayStation 4, Switch, and Xbox One. People really do enjoy it. It looks very good. The soundtrack is one of the best that Nobuo Uematsu has ever done. So it's not terrible. It's just some of the gameplay decisions were not really my favorites. Cool Borders 4, I really don't have a big opinion on because I haven't played it all that much. I do have the game, I just really haven't played it. After Cool Borders 2, I kind of stepped away from the series, and that's on me more than anything else. But Cool Borders 4 kind of continues the franchise and continues the tradition. I do believe that by then, though, Web Systems had moved away from the series, and I think it was Idle Minds that was doing those games back then. Next is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, a game that deserves no introduction because everyone knows what kind of game it is. It turned the skateboarding genre on its head, combining arcade-style gameplay and scoring points with doing certain things in each level. An awesome licensed soundtrack and more. One of my favorite games for the PlayStation. And last, we have Ape Escape, a game that utilized only the DualShock controller. So if you didn't have one of those, you weren't able to play the game. I like the game. It combines a little bit of platforming, a little bit of like Mega Man style action where you have to pick the right gadget or item to be able to get through certain stages of the game. The soundtrack is quirky, and I've enjoyed the series ever since 1999. So that is disc 1. Now, what's cool about this is if you turn it over, you can win $500,000. Pizza Hut and PlayStation put a new spin on winning great prizes. Open here and look inside. You may be the winner. Now, I doubt that this is a winning disc, but we will find out. There are some screenshots for the games as well. So, we're going to go ahead and find out if I win. And it's going to be hard to do this so you can see it. Let's see. There we go. Kind of nervous. Okay. That didn't go so well. All right. I can do it this way. All right. Okay, so look inside. First of all, this is what the disc looks like. There are no instruction manuals, obviously. Oh, sorry, try again. There it is right in the spindle. It is a green color. I do like the color. It reminds me of Sprite just a little bit. And then on the inside, I'm not going to open the sleeve all the way, but if you look on the inside, it goes over all the rules and things like that. Again, this is probably my favorite of the 2 demo discs just based on the games on offer, but still, it is really cool to be able to check that out and to open this up for the first time. I don't think I'd play this demo disc as much today as I would have back in 1999, but nevertheless, it is a really cool thing to own here in 2020. We have the second of the 2 discs right here, and the game selection, at least to me, is a little less quality. We have the next Tetris, which is okay. It is Tetris for all intents and purposes. It's not terrible, but it's not the best Tetris game by any stretch. Sledstorm, the game that imprinted Rob Zombie's Dragula in my head for weeks. That is Sledstorm from Electronic Arts. Gran Turismo 2, the follow-up to the Smash driving simulation game. Spyro, I think that is Ripto's Rage, so Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, and then Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, a game that I actually have to open for Unsealed at a later time. That is Spyro at the top. My opinions of these games, Sledstorm is pretty good. Gran Turismo 2 being a driving simulation, not my thing. I'm more of an arcade guy, but there's no denying that Gran Turismo 2 certainly looked fantastic for its time. Spyro Ripto's Rage continues the series. I like the Spyro games a lot, whether it's the originals or whether it's the remakes for the modern systems. Again, Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, I really don't have any information on, except I do have it new, and I really should get around to opening it at some point, and I certainly will do that in the future. So just like the last one, you can win $500,000. We do have some screenshots of the games here. We're going to go ahead and try and open this up and see what happens here. I think I'm just going to try and open the envelope like that. All right. Okay. What does it say? I can't read it. It says, sorry, try again. And it's going to be tough to see because it's against the blue background. But it does say, sorry, try again. I know it's tough to see there. It is the blue. Again, not surprising that I didn't win anything. These are almost 20 years old. They are 20 years old, in fact. So I'm not surprised I didn't win, but still, it is cool to be able to open these for the first time after they've been kind of sitting for a while. Getting demo discs, whether it was through Pizza Hut or whether they were through game stores or perhaps in the mail, were some of the best parts of the PlayStation era because a lot of them were free. There were some that were pay, like the official PlayStation Magazine or PlayStation Underground, but there are a lot of demo discs that you could get either for pre-ordering games or that Sony would just mail you just for being part of the PlayStation Underground team. Individual demos like Legend of Legaia or Wild Arms 2, for example, these are 2 that kind of leap to mind. Being able to try out bits and pieces of the game and really try and convince you to buy it, and I can tell you that The Legend of Legaia certainly worked for me. I bought it after playing the demo of that. So demo discs certainly worked. And as the demo discs became more general, especially when they were the PlayStation Underground or the official PlayStation Magazine demos, where you had videos as well as games themselves, there was a lot to go back to. There was a lot to process, and there were reasons to go back and replay those time and time again. With the Pizza Hut demos, it is just the game trials themselves, so there's not as much to go back to, although I will tell you right now that the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater demo was one that I had through a different source, and I played that demo to death. So there were some demos, if they were really good, you could not put them down, and the Pizza Hut demo, disc 1, that had the Tony Hawk demo on it, is one that I'm sure I would have played a lot of back in the day. So that's a look at the Pizza Hut demos. Unfortunately, I didn't win $500,000, but you know what? I'm okay with that because I got to open 2 pieces of history from 21 years ago, and I think that that's pretty exciting. As always, thanks very much for checking out this and all of my episodes of Unsealed. I really do appreciate it. And until the next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll do this again real soon.